Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Swanky Productions channel. We are about to hop on the Tenere here and go ripping down this fire road here in northern Wisconsin. But before I do that, I want to point out one of these things that I'm going to be talking about that I'm not a huge fan of on the Tenere 700. It'll be a lot easier to just show you, and then we can hop on the bike and make some dust. So that first thing is going to be how this exhaust pipe is positioned and the way that they've got it mounted. So obviously it sticks out past just about everything on this side of the bike, and the way they've got it mounted here is to this kind of thin bracket, and you can't see it, but it's actually welded on in there. So basically, if you go over on this side, this is going to get bent in, this is going to get bent, and this is a part of the frame. So technically, if that's bent, the bike could be considered totaled by your insurance. Now, if you know where to look, there actually is an aftermarket option that's being worked on where this pipe gets routed up through here. This gets cut off and it gets stuck tighter in there. But we'll maybe talk about that a little later. Let's hop on this machine and enjoy some back roads here. So the exhaust is one thing that I haven't really got to yet. Probably going to be doing that hopefully sometime this winter, maybe that or next summer. I've actually got a message in to the guy that's been working on it, so hopefully you'll see something from me from that soon, but we'll see how that goes. The next thing, I guess moving towards the front of the bike and the front wheel, the low fender, it's just not my thing. The overall look of this bike to me is kind of like big dirt bike, and just to stick a low sport bike fender on the front like that, I don't know, it's not my thing. Some people really like it. I mean, I guess obviously there's, you know, a good reason to do that. It kind of helps keep the rest of the bike from getting too messy if you're running through stuff like that all day. But I don't know, I just can't do it. And the thing is, if you're running through really kind of sticky mud, you can end up balling that all up on the front tire and getting it kind of packed into the underside of the fender, and you can actually have problems where you break that fender. And I've got a whole install video for the high fender kit that I've got on here, which you guys kind of saw a little bit to begin with. That reroutes the brake lines and stuff, so you don't have the brake lines slung over the tire. And I mean, just having all that up there, it just kind of made me uncomfortable with the type of trails I run. This is what you're seeing today is going to be very tame compared to what I normally get up to. However, I'm riding solo today, so we're taking it easy. But I just didn't like the idea of that. All it would take was, on a ride like today, you come across a stick, the front tire picks it up and throws it right underneath that fender, and you might have a very slow ride home with no front brakes. Woo! It is bumpy out here. And partially it is just aesthetics. I like the high fender better, even though it does make a huge mess of everything now. But I'm okay with that. It's a dirt bike. Big dirt bike. Woo! So just like I fixed that, the next thing has already been fixed here just recently by the Camel ADV anti-bobblehead kit, and I'll put links down in the description if you want to check this stuff out that I'm talking about here today. So you can probably see my GPS bouncing around a bit, which is because it's on a horrible mount, but the dash itself, and actually the headlight too, used to bounce around quite a bit. There's a little lake in there. Huh, neat. And then enter the Camel ADV anti-bobblehead kit, and we have no bobbling going on whatsoever. And on the install video that I did for that thing, it seems like everybody's kind of 50-50 about whether or not that bothered them or whether it's worth doing. And I mean, it's totally not something that absolutely needs to be done. Ooh, look at that. It's definitely going to be one of those total personal preference things. There's half people said that they don't understand why you would need it done. They don't ride around staring at their gauge cluster. And then the other people said, kind of along the lines of my feelings, is that it's not that you're staring at it all day. It's just that for one, it just kind of, it feels cheap, I guess, to me. And this is not a cheap bike, and it doesn't feel cheap in any other sense. But the gauge bouncing around, just, you know, it doesn't make you feel confident about the bike you're on. and it, oh my goodness, there's a good test of it. Check out how sturdy it is. It also can kind of get annoying when the sun is kind of directly overhead and reflecting off of that. If it's fluttering like that, it definitely, I think anyways, can be distracting. And at night as well, you definitely would notice that headlight bouncing. This would have been a good road to test it on. The next thing that I've just kind of started to notice recently, because I'm actually getting some use of my right foot back. If you guys aren't following the channel, actually. Oh no, which way do we want to go? Anago? Do we want to go to Anago? I don't remember what that guy was saying now. Talking about how when I went to go pick this bike up, I got smashed into by a minivan, and 3 bones in my foot got broken. So I'm just barely able to kind of start using the rear brake now, and I've noticed that it, maybe it's just my foot that's weak, but I think I've actually read this, and maybe you other Tenere owners can kind of comment on this. I think people complain about the back brake being kind of weak, and maybe once I can press on it a little bit harder, it'll be better. But it seems like as well put together as this bike is, it seems like that back brake is kind of lacking. Front brakes, now that I've got the gaffer lines on from the Camel ADV high fender kit, work very well, and I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. Going to keep going this way. So is there, whoa, my goodness, is there anything else that I'm not a huge fan of yet? I think for the most part, honestly, I think we can probably move on to the things that I absolutely love about this machine. There is one more thing. So I actually didn't notice this until one of you guys commented on, I think, a video that I was maybe installing these RNG case covers on, but the shift linkage is really kind of long, and it's not all that exposed, but it's definitely in a position, I think, that could possibly get bent in a bit. Now, even if it was bent in, you can't really go that far. I don't think it would be a trip ender. I think it would just kind of basically adjust where that shifter was. Something that you could pretty easily replace. So, I don't know. Doesn't bother me too much. I never worried about it until somebody said something. So, thanks for giving me one more thing to worry about. Just kidding. It was actually a pretty insightful thing, and something that was, I think, worth pointing out, which is why I mentioned it. I guess one thing is that this thing sure is, seems like it gets warm, and I guess we're not going all that fast, and I guess 208 degrees isn't all that warm, especially for a newer bike. So this next thing I actually have a whole entire video dedicated to, so you guys can check that out if you want. I'll put a link in the description. It might be a little bit more clear than the description I'll give, but basically the part of the frame, which isn't actually part of the frame, that the skid plate is attached to, which isn't actually a skid plate or bash plate, Yamaha calls it a cowl. The part that's attached to is not really up to the task of supporting the bike, which they actually admit in the owner's manual. So other than that stuff, I honestly absolutely love this bike. This is by far my favorite motorcycle so far. I always said that about the KLR, and I still definitely like the KLR. Nothing that can beat the KLR price-wise for sure. But oh my gosh, this bike is so much fun on the road. Definitely a very off-road worthy bike. Off-road worthy? Off-road worthy? What? I don't know. I've just been having a blast the past 600 miles on this thing. I mean, it has just been a joy to ride. It's basically exactly what I've kind of always wanted in a bike. I'm not real big on like true adventure riding. My adventures are rather than being kind of few and far between and long, they are hopefully, if I can do it, every weekend, maybe sometimes twice a weekend, like this weekend. Oh, yikes. And usually take like an hour ride up to a beautiful place like this, cruise around for an hour on the trail, and then head back home if I'm by myself. Otherwise, if I'm with a group, then we stop and talk a little bit more and maybe do a little bit more riding. And sometimes we get into some very adventurous trails. If you guys have seen my other videos, actually the one from last weekend was quite the adventure. And if you guys want to check that out, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I put a video out every weekend in the summertime. it's kind of coming to a close this year, but definitely looking forward to getting this thing out next year once I got some crash bars on it and my foot's better. This thing is absolutely perfect for me. I've always kind of wanted something that is basically just as off-road worthy as the KLR, which, I mean, that's kind of up for debate. In my opinion, that bike was a great bike for off-roading. Obviously, it's not a dirt bike, but it definitely got me to everywhere I wanted to go, and got me in, got me out, and sometimes got me in trouble, but always got me back out of trouble. The Tenere is kind of like the KLR was, just a big dirt bike, except having instead of having a big dirt bike engine, this has a big sport bike engine, and oh man, is it a beautiful combination. I've just always wanted that, and that's why I was kind of so excited to see when this bike came out. The Africa Twin was definitely something that I wanted for a long time too, but it was just kind of big and kind of heavy. I mean, for the trails that I do, I don't know if I really need even a what is this, 70-some horsepower machine. That's probably more than enough. It was definitely more of a want than a need, but I definitely didn't need a 1000cc bike for the type of riding I do. Woo! Not that there's anything wrong with an Africa Twin. There's people that can do laps around me on an Africa Twin, even if I'm on my 250. I mean, it just all comes down to your skill level and your confidence level and what you're willing to push your bike to do, and there's definitely people out there that can do it. I'm sure you can definitely ride this bike on some hairy single track. We'll see if I ever get to that level or not. But oh my gosh, this is just a blast to ride up here. I've always enjoyed riding the KLR on the road, but this thing is so much more fun on the road. I come from a sport bike background. The KLR is definitely a fun bike to ride on the road, don't get me wrong, but coming from 600 RRs, this was a little bit more what I'm looking for an on-road portion of a bike, and oh, I love having it. It's so cool that I get to rip around corners on the way up here, and then as soon as I get to the dirt, just go right from cornering sport bike mode to off-road dual sport mode. It's a beautiful thing, and it puts a smile on my face for sure. KLR still a good motorcycle though. Anything that can get you to trails like this is beautiful. Is beautiful? Well, it is beautiful, but anything that can get you to beautiful trails like this is a good motorcycle in my opinion. Oh, I'm so glad I got out today. Probably gonna be the last day I get to go out, but it was worth it. Sorry, honey. Poor wife sitting at home. It was an awesome weekend. It was 70s all week, and we're mid-November, which doesn't happen too often in Wisconsin, so it's pretty cool. That a little bit of a treat at the end of the season here for me, since mine got cut real short. So what else do I like about the Tenere? Obviously I've kind of talked about the motor and everything. The gearing really seems pretty good for off-road so far. I haven't ran into any issues with that. The suspension feels pretty good. I think, like I said earlier, I need to maybe adjust my rebound in the back, and I think maybe it's just kind of the chain clanking around back there that happens on my Dad's Tiger XC800, and I mean, it just kind of like the dash bobbling around. It just kind of makes it feel, I don't know, cheap or wrong or something. I don't know. Doesn't give me confidence, I guess. Seems like I'm doing something I shouldn't be, but I think maybe it's just a noise I kind of got to get used to. I don't know if it's really anything that needs to be adjusted. Woo! The seat has kind of softened up a little bit. I'm starting to like that a little bit more. I've seen some guys that have the one-piece seat, which would be kind of nice to be able to pull the whole thing off with the key. Not really sure if I'll end up doing that or not. The bike is a little bit tall for me, and the seat's a little bit wide. Look how pretty that is down there. Wife and I have been watching Bob Ross on the Pluto app on our Roku. That's the first time I've ever seen him, but I like watching that stuff. I kind of listen to it and half watch it while I edit videos. Look at all the happy little trees and the happy clouds. It is a beautiful day. Just gorgeous. I think we're kind of coming to the end of anything that I had to say, which is good timing because we're coming to the end of the dirt road here. I'm gonna go enjoy my ride home and my super bright Cyclops LEDs that I've got on here. I guess that's the other thing. One more thing that I do like, the headlights are super nice. The projectors work good. Do have to do a little bit of adjusting to begin with, but other than that, they are pretty darn nice and bright. I gotta have auxiliary lights though, just how I am. All right, I guess we don't need the signal light on because I'm gonna take a break here. Get a drink of water and tell the wife I'm on my way. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure and give it a like. That helps me out. Like I said earlier, if you want to see more videos of me on the Tenere, hit this subscribe button down at the bottom here if you want to see some more right now. Check them out at the top. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, stay swanky. If you can get out and ride, make sure you do that. Otherwise, click on a video.